Stephen King is undeniably one of the most successful and prolific authors of our time, with a staggering number of his books turned into movies, TV series, and cultural icons. But what happens when an author's work doesn't quite resonate with everyone? Well, that's where I come in. I'm Billy, and today, we're starting a journey through King's catalog with Carrie, a book that launched his career but, as you'll find out, left me less than impressed. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Truth Meets Fiction. Stephen King's name is synonymous with horror, suspense, and storytelling that has captivated readers for decades. With over 350 million books sold worldwide and countless adaptations, it's safe to say he's a literary legend. Yet, as popular as his work is, not every reader, including me, finds his writing style to be their cup of tea. Today, we'll take a critical look at Carrie, his debut novel and the start of his long, illustrious career. Before we get into the details, I want to acknowledge King's immense success and the undeniable impact he's had on the literary world. That said, let's take a closer look at Carrie and see how it measures up. Carrie tells the story of Carrie White, a shy, socially awkward high school girl tormented by her classmates and oppressed by her fanatically religious mother. But Carrie has a secret: she possesses telekinetic powers, which she ultimately unleashes in a tragic and destructive finale. The premise is intriguing, and King does a great job of tapping into universal themes like bullying, adolescence, and the consequences of repression. However, for me, the execution falls short. The narrative structure, which intersperses traditional storytelling with news articles, interviews, and reports, feels disjointed and interrupts the flow of the story. While I understand this was an attempt to add realism, it left me feeling disconnected from the characters and the core events. Another issue is pacing. The build-up to the infamous prom night is painstakingly slow, while the climax is rushed and chaotic. The uneven pacing made it hard for me to stay engaged. And while Carrie's plight is undeniably tragic, the characters around her, particularly her tormentors, felt more like caricatures than real people. This lack of nuance made it difficult for me to invest emotionally in the story. One of the things I struggled with most in Carrie is King's writing style. His tendency to over-describe and include lengthy digressions made the book feel bloated in places. While some readers love his rich, detailed world building, I found it detracted from the story's momentum. Another point of contention for me is the portrayal of Carrie herself. While she's meant to evoke sympathy, her development as a character feels incomplete. We get glimpses of her inner world and her desire for acceptance, but these moments are often overshadowed by the focus on her powers and the external conflicts. I wanted more depth, more insight into who Carrie was beyond her suffering and eventual vengeance. Then there's the infamous prom scene, which is undeniably iconic. The imagery of Carrie drenched in pig's blood, her classmates laughing at her, and the fiery destruction that follows is powerful and unforgettable. However, the emotional weight of this moment felt unearned to me. The lack of subtlety in the lead-up made it feel more like a spectacle than a natural culmination of the story. Finally, let's talk about the ending. While it's suitably bleak for a horror novel, it left me feeling more frustrated than satisfied. The epilogue, with its reports and documents, felt unnecessary and undermined the emotional impact of the climax. The prom scene is undoubtedly the highlight of the book, but even this pivotal moment has its flaws. On one hand, it's a masterclass in tension and atmosphere. King captures the chaos, terror, and devastation of Carrie's revenge in vivid detail. The sheer scale of destruction is both horrifying and awe-inspiring, and it's easy to see why this scene has become so iconic. On the other hand, the lack of subtlety and the one-dimensional portrayal of Carrie's tormentors made it hard for me to feel fully invested. The scene is shocking, yes, but it lacks the emotional complexity that could have made it truly devastating. Instead of feeling Carrie's pain and anger, I found myself more focused on the spectacle of it all. And while the destruction Carrie causes is meant to be cathartic, it ultimately left me feeling hollow. The book raises interesting questions about power, revenge, and the consequences of cruelty, but it doesn't explore them in enough depth to be truly thought-provoking. So, where does Carrie stand for me? While I can appreciate its place in literary history and the impact it had on the horror genre, it's not a book I'd recommend to everyone. The disjointed narrative structure, uneven pacing, and lack of character depth made it a frustrating read for me. That said, I understand why so many readers love Carrie. It's a bold, ambitious debut that tackles important themes and features moments of undeniable brilliance. But for me, it fell short of its potential. If you're a fan of King's work or interested in exploring the roots of modern horror, Carrie is worth a read. But if, like me, you prefer tighter pacing and more nuanced storytelling, this might not be the book for you. What are your thoughts on Carrie? Do you agree with my criticisms, or is this one of your favorite Stephen King novels? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you're a King fan, stay tuned because next time, I'll be reviewing Firestarter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other reviews for more honest takes on popular books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.